Hello and welcome to IGN UK Podcast number 271. My name is Gav Murphy and today I'm joined by...
Alex Simmons.
Hello, and also...
How am I supposed to outdo that?
You're not going to. But what's your name?
Roy Powers.
What's your name, boy?
Rory Powers.
How you doing?
That was kind of earthy.
How's everyone?
I'm good. Yeah, I haven't been on in a while. I think it was
keep
since, like...
getting like famous bumped for famous people.
Oh, I guess, yeah. I can't
What
compete
the
with...
hell?
How am I supposed to compete with Mark Miller? I can't do that.
Yeah,
I can't write comics.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, but your name is like a superhero.
That's
name.
true. I could maybe be in the Civil War.
Be in a comic.
I could die. Probably.
Yeah.
I wouldn't last long, but I could try.
We should point out Alex has got his phone there because your wife could go into labour any
She
second.
could, yeah. That'll
So
be
you'd have to
an
leave.
interesting podcast if that happens.
Would you leave if you went to labour?
Of course. How ridiculous is
Well, that's
that?
very unprofessional. You wouldn't want to see this out to the end.
Well, I don't think I'd
questioning
have
your
a wife
dedication.
left at the end of it.
At what point would you get to... Like, if we got a feedback, you'd stay, right?
No. If I got a text... So the deal is, phone calls I'll ignore.
Okay.
Because she knows that I'm busy. But if I get a text saying, now, I'm gone.
Should that be the way that it works? Really?
Well, how would you do it?
Why are you ignoring
I would
phone
do-
calls from your pregnant wife?
Well, because I'm in the middle of a podcast.
I would
and
do
she might
like some
phone
sort
me.
of bat
Okay,
signal
right.
up with a baby, like, and then if you see that, then you know you have to.
There are
run
no
off.
windows.
See, I don't actually speak. I don't speak to my.
You foiled my plan.
I don't speak to my girlfriend on the phone ever. Like if she calls me, I'm just like, "What's happened?"
Right.
She's like we never speak on the phone. We only speak over texts and emails and stuff like that. So if
Right.
she called me, I would think there's something is
Why do you
wrong.
not talk to your...
Because I hate speaking to
21st
anybody
century
on the phone.
love, Alex.
I'm
We
gonna
don't
see
do
her
it.
when I get home, isn't it? Like, what would I say on the phone that I couldn't just
Hello, how
bang
are
out
you
on it?
done?
No.
Amazing.
Thanks.
Wow, who says romance is dead?
Yeah. Look.
Do you just sit there next to each other on the sofa, just texting
No,
each
not
other?
like that. Obviously,
what
we
do you
talk
want
then.
for tea?
No, we text them, but we talk then. But if like she's at work and I'm at work, we communicate via text or Snapchats of my genitals. Like
Right.
that's all you need these days.
Chat roulette.
That's it.
He's in the bedroom.
Chat
you're in the
roulette.
front room.
That's so 2009,
I don't
man.
know.
Jesus.
I was literally I was with my roommate the other day, and she wanted to show me something on her laptop, and I didn't want to get up from my chair, so I was like, just Snapchat me a picture of it. So she Snapchat a picture of her laptop, and then I just looked at
Are
my
you
phone.
serious?
Yeah.
I thought it was
so
going to be more
bad.
interesting. Like you went on a laptop and you saw some absolute grot or something like that.
Well, it was grot what she sent.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
Absolute.
That's
So
pretty- that's
shame
pretty-
on you, Caitlin.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's
The-
good.
The youth of today.
What's everyone been doing this week, mostly?
Playing games.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's
Ditto.
good.
So
Any-
obviously the big thing to happen this week is heists in GTA Online.
That's right.
Now, Rory and I had the opportunity to go and play it at Rockstar
Had the pleasure.
before it came out. So that was last week? It must have
Yeah.
been last week, yeah. So we played through the Humane Labs heist.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so good.
Yeah. Is that the only one you've done so far?
It's
Yeah.
the only one I've done so far.
Okay,
So
yeah.
that's heist 3.
Yeah.
So basically, I'm ready.
Yeah.
I was born ready for heist, but
Yeah.
I'm waiting for you guys, my
I'm
teammates.
ready.
Well.
I'm ready. We're waiting for Krupa.
I have a bit of an issue.
Actually, and you as well, yeah.
Well, I am level 39,
Yeah,
which is
but
pretty high. But
on
now
the
I
wrong
have to,
console.
I have to
Wrong
adapt
console.
to you PlayStation fiends.
Yeah.
So now I'm starting from the bottom. Hopefully now I'm here. I'm
Well, does-
draking it. I'm draking my way up to the top
It's
again.
because we all play on PlayStation 4 and you're the only one in the office who plays on Xbox One. So
But it's
it
all
was
mind
either,
games, so I can get all the Xbox games.
So it was either us.
But you've
I'm
got
playing
no
the
one to
long
play
con here, guys. You
But
need
it
to.
was, so it was either us all have to level up or one person have to level up. And seeing as you spent all your time on it, we thought it wouldn't take you very long. But in fairness, like I always thought that everyone had to be level 12, but it's actually only the heist.
It is,
Yeah.
Organizer.
I think you need, you have to be like level 6 or 7. Basically, you need to have done the first Gerald mission.
I've done that.
So
So you're good?
What's the
Yeah.
first Gerald mission?
he's the kind of, so you got Simeone, or
Yeah.
Simeon, or whatever
Simon-
his name is,
Simone.
who is the kind of
Cars
repo
dude.
guy.
Yeah.
Gerald is the drugs guy. Same
I've done the drugs one,
Same
the first
stuff,
one,
different
yeah, yeah,
packaging.
It is like level
basically.
6 or 7, I think,
Yeah.
that we found
Yeah.
out. So
Yeah.
it's not too. Like we did it in an
Yeah.
hour. I
Yeah.
got to level 7 or 8 in
Yeah,
like an
I
hour
did.
of playing. So
I got to level 11 after one night of playing it, and I only
Yeah.
did a couple of missions.
Yeah.
And then, but I also found a little bug, and I don't know if it's been fixed or what now, because there's just been a big thing. It's been a big update, but my internet's really crappy. So what would happen was I would enter into a race. The internet was sort of that I was hosting. The internet was sort of cut out. Everyone would get kicked from it,
And then you just win?
I'd just be in the race.
I mean, but so I've since been playing it.
Yeah.
You can do pretty much everything on your own.
There's a lot. There's some you can do
Oh
with
yeah,
other people.
missions that are 2 to 8
Races,
or whatever
yeah.
it might
Yeah.
be.
Races you can do by yourself.
I've done a race by myself.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Like,
I won.
Yeah, did
which
you?
I'm really pleased about.
But that's the thing, though. And you get, I mean, I got like $9,000 for doing a race and coming first. But it's like, I did that.
Money's not the thing. Like, you can get money very quickly. Like, when we were playing, just leveling up your character, I think I made like $100,000 in a lunch.
It was quite a lot. But I mean, we were just missions, like back-to-back missions.
But also missions that were, because if you go for verified missions, so the Simeon missions or the Gerald missions, you get more RP, you get more cash.
Right.
And I'm all about the RP. I still don't know what JP is.
What's the difference between RP and JP?
Well, RP is experience points. I have no idea what JP is.
Reputation points?
I think it's, respect points, something like that.
Yeah. And JP is...
No idea.
Well, the only thing we can think of is Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Parks. That's what I've been saying. I've
got loads of them.
Got 15 Jurassic Park, yo!
Jelly? Purple? I can't think of any.
Well, you're not going to guess it.
I'm not
I don't think so.
Probably not jelly purple, I'm assuming. And those are even for the ones that we're doing. Like, so 39 now, I think the highest I've ever got was like 23,000 for a mission.
Okay, yeah.
Which is, I mean, they're more difficult. And this is on, we were playing on hard as well. Something to note. Yeah. But it's not too difficult to make money. It's only like 50,000 to do a heist. Well, to be the leader.
Every single mission I've done, either with you or with other people, I've done on my own relatively easily.
Yeah.
Because they just hit a certain formula and you can figure it out
even on
easily.
hard, though?
Not on hard. No.
That's what I mean. I mean,
ago,
I think some of the ones that some of the missions that I've done are like, they're very, very samey, which is why I'm really looking forward to just getting cracking on Heists, because
different.
It's just something different. And I think, to be honest, that was why I stopped playing GTA 5, because GTA 5, you reach the first heist relatively quickly, I think, and then
the jewelry store.
That's right, yeah. And when I was doing that, I was thinking, this is amazing, and that's what I thought GTA 5 was all going to be about. Yeah. But there's not very many in it, and actually the second one, like on the boat, I didn't think was as good, because it felt like I like the first one, the jewelry store, maybe because it was a much smaller one. It felt like I was really in control of what was going on. Yeah. Whereas the boat one, I felt like I botched it very, very quickly, and then just did my normal GTA thing of just like hide, cover, took everyone out, and then I didn't really notice that I was penalised for that.
But I think, like, when it comes to online though, I guess it's mainly about the money, because
well, I don't know, I really enjoyed the story for ours mostly.
No, sorry, I didn't mean that in terms of what's at stake. If you keep going through the game and screwing up, obviously you're spending more money on ammo, you're spending more money on this, that and the other. But I'm not bragging, but I've got so much cash already, it's like,
doesn't matter.
Well, it doesn't help you got all the free pre-order stuff. Maybe that's why.
So bitter.
I'm so bitter. He got like a car. He's got all these weapons and things.
I saw someone.
I have to work my way up.
I saw someone tweet from a picture of them finishing. I think it was heist number 3, which is the one you guys have done. Yeah. And they got $933,000 for it.
Wow, they didn't.
Is that right?
No, that can't be right.
Unless they did
500, maybe they did it on hard or something like that.
Or maybe it's maybe it was a different mission. But yeah, $933,000 was the.
It's 540,000 just to pay out for that one.
Distributed amongst the team. So obviously, if I was the kind of heist leader, then I could either share it among you, or I could keep the lion's share to myself.
Which you would.
But
it'd be a mutiny.
You don't figure that out until the very last part of the heist. So there's 6 parts. Yeah. Sort of basically 5 setup missions, and you can do kind of different variations. You don't have to do them in the same order. You can mess around with it. And then you guys will get a fixed amount each time we complete those missions. Right. I put my upfront cost in, and then I get nothing until the last mission, and that's when I take.
So it is assumed that you would take more because we're getting money. Because I was getting like 20,000 or something for each segment of the heist.
So if probably
not that much.
Probably when
I get 9,000 for doing a race by myself.
No, we got 81 grand.
Yeah.
That's what. Yeah, but. Like, if I was going to distribute the wealth, I'd go probably 85 me, 5, and then 5 for Krupa, which I think is fair, right?
That's so
Doesn't
cruel.
seem like that. No, I'm not into that. I'll carry on doing the one-man races, to be honest.
Just on your own. Wow.
Absolutely.
This is what GTA
We're all in here
Online
playing
is all about.
Heist and Gav's at his desk doing like little boat races.
Yeah.
But, we spoke about it on a video last week, and I just think... you're getting each heist is about 3 hours, probably 3 to 4 hours on first playthrough, 5 of them, and you can play them multiple times because there were bits that I was doing that completely different from Rory. Yeah. And what I don't understand is people moaning that it's a year late and this, that, and the other. It's like
people don't moan about anything.
Getting this for free. Yeah. And it's longer than most games.
Yeah. And better than most games, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to trying it out. Actually, like we just haven't had time this week at all.
No, the
been
plan
so
is
busy.
to do it. Well, probably while people listen to this podcast.
Excellent.
Great.
But I do think, Rockstar could have quite easily not announced Heist for GTA Online.
Yeah.
And then done it as a kind of DLC package for 20 quid.
I'd have paid 20 quid for it.
I would have paid
I
20
absolutely
quid.
would.
Yeah.
It's just there's so much content. It doesn't really seem like a big thing because it's just like we're gonna add like 5 heists.
Yeah.
But the scope of the story, even just for ours alone,
Yeah.
like aside from the
Yeah.
other 4, is just so massive. And as you said, it's like it's different from the ones that you have in the narrative because in the narrative you have you switch roles.
Right.
And I mean that's kind of nice because then you get to be a part of every single
You're always
piece.
at the center of the action.
Exactly.
okay, cool.
But there's something to be said for being a specific role in a team
Yeah.
of other people
Yeah.
and like all working together towards a common goal.
Yeah.
It was great. Yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah. But it has made, because I've gone back and played through the... I'm playing through the single player and I'm at the sub heist
Okay.
now.
Why has it
So-
made you want to go back and do that?
Just because I really enjoyed it
Okay.
on 360.
Yeah.
And then I just thought, well, it's there. I'm not really playing anything else at the minute.
Yeah.
And
You should be. I don't know what though.
Maybe we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Stay tuned.
I never finished the first game. I don't know if it was older. I just didn't find it as funny anymore.
I'm a big GTA fan though.
I love GTA, but I don't know. I just didn't find anything that funny. And like, I think like all the satirical stuff felt really on the nose this time. Like when you go to like the Facebook offices and things like that, it was
Yeah.
like, I don't know. Maybe when I was like 16, I would have found that hilarious and really clever. But as a sophisticated 28-year-old, when I played it, didn't do anything.
A
for me.
28-year-old, sophisticated, not sure.
Well, who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something. I don't know if it's just because I'm getting older or if maybe it's this game. But I remember
You're
like,
about 6.
Leave me alone. I was just because of like playing previous GTA games. Like
Yeah.
I remember at times I would just drive around the city and just listen to the radio stations. I don't know if it's just because I'm busier now and I don't really have the time to do it. But I mean, like I remember playing those games and knowing when shows were going to start, like in loops, and just enjoy listening to the shows and being so in this world. And maybe it's also because with GTA Online, there's so much to do that you don't need to entertain yourself with these other things. You know, you can play with your friends and things like that. But yeah, I know I'm just not quite as
No, I don't know.
immersed.
I still find myself like driving around, like especially if I get a cool song on the radio. I'll find myself just driving around, especially if it's like dusk or like the sun's just setting.
yeah, it's great.
Or it's hammering down with
Go
rain.
pose on a mountain and
Like,
do
exactly,
some
like-
self-reflecting.
It looks so good
It's
on PS4.
astonishing.
Like,
Yeah.
All right, guys. Favorite GTA radio station? GTA 5. Let's do this.
Do you know, I don't actually know the names of the stations.
You don't know the names of the station?
No.
I like Los Santos one. That's really
Pretty
good.
good. Non-stop pop, baby.
Yeah, Non-Stop Pop is
All
really
day.
good. Like when Rihanna comes on,
Yeah.
that's really, really good. I really like the sort of Mexican one or the Spanish
Yeah, yeah.
one.
Oh, yeah,
that's
yeah.
really, really
Yeah.
good.
I feel when I'm driving through the desert, I like to put that one on.
Yeah.
It makes me feel pretty Breaking Bad. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's really good. I'm trying to think like what my favorite song to come on is, but it's definitely Eddie Murphy Party All the Time.
I don't even know if I've heard that
When
one.
that comes on, that's
Is
the
that on
best song,
Non-Stop
yeah.
Pop?
I don't think it's on Non-Stop Pop. No, I'm not
That's
sure
where
where it's
I'm
on,
going wrong.
but yeah.
Because I like, is it the Small Faces that did the tune for the first trailer?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
That always feels like badass because that was the first time I saw GTA 5.
Oh no,
And
that's the very first trailer, Skeletons in a Closet.
No,
not Stevie Wonder.
That was
no.
the second trailer.
Okay, right, yeah.
I'm sure it's the Small Faces, something
Yeah.
like that.
Okay,
I
yeah.
forget the name of the tune, but when that comes on,
Yeah.
and you're just kind of
You
cruising
feel quite
along
cool,
in
yeah.
an amazing car.
Yeah.
It was like
Yeah.
when Danger Zone came on when we were doing
Yeah.
the
That's
the
funny,
jet
yeah.
part of the heist. That was so
Yeah.
cool because we even said
Yeah.
we were driving and we were like, oh, this is pretty.
Top Gun.
Yeah, we were like, this is pretty Top Gun.
Yeah,
And then
and
all of
then
a
the song
sudden,
comes
Danger
on.
Zone kicks on. We were like,
Yeah.
yeah. And even I was, you have to fly and land at the airbase.
Yeah.
And I was flying alongside the guy at Rockstar.
Mm.
And I was like, how about I fly a little above you and I was going to turn the plane and do the Top Gun thing. Didn't work. Went into a
No,
lamppost and we failed the mission.
Oh.
It wasn't a lamppost.
It was
because lampposts are not very high.
an electrical tower.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
Something came out of
Like-
nowhere. But it was a really bad moment because we
Yeah.
just beaten that mission that had taken us like half an hour to do. And we were
Yeah,
like,
'cause
yeah,
you-
we did it.
Like all
And
of the
then-
kind of missions in GTA, you kind of get team lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'd used one stealing the hydrojet. And then he goes and wastes the last one just trying to do
On the
a
home-
ridiculous stuff.
Track.
Just as we're kind of like
Did you fail the mission
unlanding.
then?
Yeah, and
Oh.
we're
Did it
all on
all
separate
again.
TVs, so I crash and I just go completely silent, and then all their screens freeze. And they're like, what the happened? What the hell happened? And I'm just like on my head lowered down.
Like,
and
what the hell happened?
Yeah, I was like, what was that, guys?
It was one of those like demos that by the end of it, you could see Rockstar just like
rubbing their eyes.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I think like everyone had left the office by the time we were done with Heists. It was like dark outside.
Oh,
It taken us
man.
quite a while.
I had a really bad demo the other day where I was playing Tembo the Badass Elephant, which is like Sega's new game.
It's a great name.
And you have to score a certain amount of points to unlock the next level. I was only able to play 2 different levels, but the build that we had was so early that it was like level 1 and level 6 I was allowed to play.
Right.
But to be able to get to level 6, you had to do another 4 levels all the way through.
Right.
So the guy was with me was like, I'll have to play through these. And I was like, look, let me play through them. I won't write about them. I won't capture them.
It's on the podcast, though.
Well, it is fine, yeah. But I was like, let me just play through them just so I can open it. And he was like, oh, yeah, that's cool, but you won't be able to write about it or talk about it. But I was like, yeah, that's fine. I just want to have a sort of feel for the game. And when I got to the last one that needed to unlock the next one, you could sort of see him get really antsy because it was like, it took about maybe like 50 minutes to do the level. And it looked like I really wasn't going to get enough points because I was sort of just exploring and just generally being rubbish.
Yeah.
And he was getting really antsy and he was like, oh, I just need to bring up the dev thing a minute. But then our keyboard is a really odd keyboard, so it doesn't have a home button. So he was like, where's the home button on your keyboard? I was like, I don't know, man. I'm playing this elephant. And I was like, I'll be fine. I'll do it. Don't worry. I'll do it. And then it was getting the end. I was like, oh my God, I'm not going to do it. And you could see him just like getting like, oh God, like busy thing. I skimmed by with like 4 points or something like that. So
You did it.
I was all right with that.
That was good.
Which is the main bit.
But one thing I wanted to say, talking about cars, is when I brought in my PS4 to start playing online, you've been relentlessly taking the piss out of me because of my car.
It's because you've got a ridiculous car.
What have you got?
I've got like a Toyota Celica, like old school, like purple on the top, black on the bottom. It's so fast, and it cost me nothing, and it's just really, really fast, and it looks badass as well. But like, you've got loads of money. I don't have loads of money.
Yeah, but they were free. All of my cars were free.
How did you do that?
Because of the pre-order.
Oh, that's bollocks.
I know, right? This is what I'm saying. I've been going on about this. Like,
you can't have a go of my car and take the piss out of my car when
not?
you've got all those amazing cars in your garage for free.
And guns as well. What else did you get? Cars, guns.
Well, they're just a few guns.
Just
bitches and hoes.
You know.
Well, I don't want to hear any more words against my car.
Well, it's because your character, you've gone for a heroin abused version of yourself.
Yeah.
Well, a mustached version of myself. I mean,
So he just runs around in a pair of pants.
Oh,
and
that's
by
right.
pants,
Yeah.
I mean the English version of pants, not American.
They're
right
shorts,
pants.
actually. They're sporty shorts.
I look like a Latino Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
as I do in real life.
Yeah.
And Creeper is the one that looks like a drug-addled version of himself.
Yeah.
And you've just gone
You
full
went
John
mad.
Hammond.
Yeah. I've made like a crackhead John Hammond from Jurassic Park. It's really good, but like people recognize it because my character's called Mr. Hammond as well. So now and again, like the other day, it was me versus one other guy in. Have you played the Snipers versus Supers?
No,
missions?
you were saying about it.
Oh my God, they're so good. Have you played them?
No.
They're really good. They're like these custom missions that people have made, and they're so much fun. So basically, half of you spawn right next to supercars. Half of you spawn right atop this sort of like platform with sniper rifles, and there's these 2 giant slides either side. So basically, you have to get enough speed up, go up, and try and knock the people off the platform, all the while they're trying to snipe you. And it was 1v1. It was me versus this one guy. And as I was coming up over him, went straight over him, killed him. So I won. As I was landing, I could do him going.
But see, that's something similar to what we did when we were playing the other day.
Oh, yeah.
Like Rory was driving along in his car along the motorway, and I was just following him in a helicopter.
Yeah.
First of all, he thought he didn't know it was me, and he thought somebody was about to destroy him. So he got out of his car and then hid under a bridge.
And it was funny because we were on the mics as well, and I was talking to you.
Yeah.
And I was just like, it's like, okay, so I'm waiting for a phone. I was like, oh, someone's in a helicopter. I was like, I'm gonna hide on this bridge. And I was like, shit. I was like, hiding on the bridge. I was like, I think he's gonna kill me. And then Alex was like,
me.
Yeah. He's like, what are you hiding from? And I was like, there's a guy in a helicopter. And he's like, that's me. And then we did I did the Die Hard thing.
Yeah. So I brought my helicopter just above a hill, and he drove his supercar up and to see if he could hit my helicopter.
Flying through the air.
Hit my rotors a few times, and then eventually took it out. Yeah.
And then I crashed into the helicopter, and then that burst into flames. And then I tried to drive my car away, and it burst into flames. and then it exploded and killed both of us.
Excellent. Okay, so that's GTA Online Heist then. So let's talk about some other cool stuff that's happened this week. My personal favorite thing that's happened is the second Daredevil trailer drop.
Daredevil.
It's so good. Like, I'm a massive Daredevil fan. When I was growing up, he was always my Batman. For me,
really?
Like, yeah, I was always Daredevil. I was always sort of got made fun of it as well because everyone else loved Batman. I love Daredevil, and they were like, look at the Batman movies, it's amazing. I was like, one day someone's gonna make an amazing Daredevil film, and then they announced it,
and then the Ben Affleck,
one.
God damn!
That's the thing at the beginning when it first happened. I thought, yeah, Ben Affleck at the time, like his stock was pretty good, and I knew that he was a lot of my graphic novels have like Ben Affleck intros for them because he's like a massive Daredevil fan.
Right.
Like he knows the character inside out. Then the film is what it is. Like it's terrible. But the first trailer for the Netflix series has all been released on one day. But the first trailer didn't really grab me that much, and I thought it was okay, but it looked like a sort of...
I completely agree with, because I was just doing some editing earlier, and I was like, okay, I need to put up the new Daredevil trailer, and I accidentally picked the first one. I was watching it, and I was like, is this right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think this is right. And then, of course, I found the second one. And it's weird because it is a lot of like the similar footage that they used in the first one, but just the way it's piled together and it's completely done. It's so much different. It's so much better as well.
Yeah, well, it's from the perspective of the Kingpin, which we hadn't really seen that much of.
Looked really cool.
So it's Vincent D'Onofrio, and he's playing the Kingpin. So it took me ages to realize it's actually his voice as the voiceover on the trailer as well. So it's him sort of talking, and he's sort of that's a really interesting thing because he's saying things that could be from the perspective of Matt Murdock and Daredevil, but it's coming out of sort of Kingpin's mouth.
Talking about the city. And
that's right, yeah.
So, I thought it was really interesting because you don't really... it's like talking about the city and how it's a part of him and how he needs to change it. And then you do just assume it's Daredevil, but then it shows you him, and then, it's great. It's a nice, like, interesting way to pull that twist on people. Yeah,
but that's the thing. But the first trailer, for me, like, it looked... Because I'm not a huge fan of, like, Arrow and Flash, I know you are, but, like, they're so just Gennaro superhero.
Yeah, they are.
It could be anyone.
Yeah.
Gennaro.
Whereas the first trailer looked like that, but the second one looks like it's going to be a little bit different. There's a couple of like courtroom sequences in it.
Yeah.
And I just think that's where they have to get it really, really right.
Yeah.
Like, if they get Matt Murdock and the cases in the day right, then, he can do whatever he wants as Daredevil, I think. But you really have to get Matt Murdock, like, bang on.
Yeah.
And it looks like they are.
See, I know nothing about Daredevil.
Really?
He's blind. So that's the start.
Is he?
I've got a bunch of graphic novels. I can
Did you not know that?
Like, yeah.
No.
What?
Oh, I just said I know nothing about Daredevil.
I thought you were being sarcastic. He's blind,
so he's a blind lawyer who was blinded as a kid by some toxic waste. It was, everything was toxic waste then.
That is ridiculous.
But it's
there are so many other things you could be blinded by.
It's very believable, though. But the toxic... but it's done really well. In Man Without Fear. Man Without Fear is better than Year One, I think.
Okay.
Like, I've always thought that.
A bold statement.
That's a bold statement, but it's a correct statement, so it's fine. I'll bring Man Without Fear in you so you can...
it's your opinion.
Yeah.
I wish it was something like he got squirted with like fairy liquid as a child, and that's made him blind.
Well,
something like a household appliance. Bleach. Yeah. Someone just poked him really hard in the face.
His senses get
his Achilles heel
heightened as well.
What, through toxic waste?
That's right, yeah.
Oh, that's horse crackers.
But not just through toxic waste. There's something in him that's always been there, and he's just, he's born to be legendary.
Okay.
It's really good.
I'm sure.
You just gotta go.
Yeah. But I'll bring it in for you so you can have a read and then maybe see if you think it's better than Year One.
Horse crackers.
As if.
Yeah. But I think it looks really, really good, and it's the first Marvel thing that's coming out on Netflix.
Yeah.
And it's introducing like a lot of characters that could cross over into other things. We're not really sure.
Yeah.
So I think it's just going to be
certainly
a really
the signs are all there. That's going to be positive. Are you going to binge watch the whole thing?
Me and Kruber were talking about this, and we don't know what to do.
I say binge it. I think it's a good idea.
But I've certainly got the time on your hands. I don't.
I've binged stuff before. Like I watched the first House of Cards. Like in however long it took me. I just sat down and watched the entire thing, the first season, and I loved that. I tried doing the same thing with the second one. Didn't really like doing it that way. And like Arrested Development, I tried doing that. I went to we had like an Arrested Development party. Got to like episode 8, and we were like, this is a bit much.
Right.
Like. So I'm not. I don't want to wreck it for myself, basically.
I'm not a huge fan of binge watching stuff.
Yeah.
I think maybe 2 to 3 episodes.
Yeah.
And then a little bit of a break.
If it's good, I'll sit down and watch something.
You want to keep watching
forever.
Yeah.
The last thing that really grabbed me like that was the first season of Broadchurch.
Okay.
Because I didn't see that at all.
Yeah.
And that was oh my god, I've got to see the next episode. See the next episode. Yeah,
I watched 4 and 4. I watched 4 on Monday, 4 on Tuesday, and then started on the new series, which is just utter gash.
If there's a show that while you're watching it, you don't feel guilty about wasting your day, that's the sign of a good show. As soon as you get to that, like, oh, should I watch another one? I like feel kind of bad that I have spent like 5 hours in my bed on a Saturday.
There was a time when my girlfriend at the time went away with work for a month, and and I had I just discovered that you can get US Netflix in the UK, and I saw Friday Night Lights, and someone would always talk to me about Friday Night Lights and how it was good. And every 5 seasons or all 5 seasons were on there, and like I remember what it's like starting it like maybe like just how I got from work, maybe like 7 o'clock, something like that, and like it was 10 to 9 in the morning, and I had to just go to work because I'd gone through so much of it, and it was just awful. I was properly obsessed with that show. I watched 5 seasons in a week.
Netflix is the worst for that as well because they just run into each other. Like they just constantly.
Although they have started doing that thing now where they pop up going, "Are you still watching Frasier?" Like,
yes, are you sure you want to continue to waste your day? Yeah, exactly.
Because it was simple. Like when I was freelance and I first went freelance, I didn't actually do any work. I think I was catching up on 24, and I can't remember what season it was, maybe season 2 or something like that. And I had season 2 and 3 and 4 on DVD, the box sets.
It's hard, isn't it?
And I would watch, because it had 4 episodes per DVD, and I'd literally lie on the sofa, and the only time I'd get up was when I had to change the DVDs.
Oh, it's so sad.
And my missus would go to work at 8, and about kind of 10 to 6, I'd go, geez, best get dressed. It's like, oh, darling, I've been so busy today.
Ooh, I've done so many words, you wouldn't believe. Can I see some of them? No, not really.
I've emailed them and deleted them. Yeah, that's the way.
You wouldn't want to see that. It's fine. So I don't know. Me and Krupa have talked about what we're gonna do, like, because we thought about, is there something we could do, like something cool we could do at work, and like something with that, like watch it and do a conversation after each one. But I don't think we've decided, even as like an entire website, what we're gonna do to cover it yet. So
I do think that a lot of people will just blitz through it.
Yeah.
You should watch them all back to back, blindfolded. But there you go, and then you can only perceive it as Daredevil perceives it.
Maybe there's something,
and then write a review, blindfolded.
Maybe there's something that podcast people can help us with, like how you actually want to see stuff like that covered. Because as I watched loads of the reviews coming in for House of Cards. House of Cards came out last weekend, and people were doing it sort of episode by episode, which kind of makes sense. But then it seems like we haven't adapted as critics to that kind of way of doing it, because
we're behind the conversation that other people are having.
Exactly, yeah. And
my gut is that you go through the whole season and you pull out the kind of main talking points for the whole thing. But you've got to be very careful of spoilers and
exactly.
Stuff.
I'll be fuming with that. I don't know. We'll have a think about it.
They can let us know. IGN_UK feedback.
That's right.
At IGN.com.
How would you like us to cover Daredevil? Yes. Do it.
Blindfolded.
Another trailer came out as well. Game of Thrones, the brand new episode for season Thrones, which looks very, very good.
I was just telling Alex that I find it kind of hard to enjoy the trailer, because every now and again I'll see a shot from the season that was shot on my local beach. Yeah. Which is really weird. You wouldn't think you would recognize something like that, but it's like a sand dune or something. And
I think you would recognize it.
I recognize that sand dune.
I know that sand dune. I spent many years as a child.
It's a dune.
Dune. A dune? A sand dune, you would say?
I would, yes.
That's weird.
That's quite cool, though. Like, I like almost all of like Sherlock and Doctor Who, which I don't watch, but I do watch Sherlock, is filmed in Cardiff.
Is it?
But it's meant to be like London. So you see some stuff now and again, you're like, ooh, we're walking down London town. Like, that's Cardiff.
Is that
that's
how they
direct
talk
dialogue,
in the show?
actually, from the latest season.
That's a perfect London accent.
Is it?
I think, because it is weird when you see, if you see something like cities and things like that, I think it's just so jarring, because it's literally like a tiny little remote beach on the north coast
that's fair
of Northern
enough.
Ireland. It's weird. You don't think anyone else would ever like go there.
Yeah.
But it's cool. It's definitely cool. And I mean, the trailer's amazing.
It looks fantastic. As well.
Dragons.
It's all from the perspective of
guys.
Khaleesi. But like, you guys watch Game of Thrones?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I couldn't remember. I've never read the books or anything. I couldn't remember. So the last time we saw Khaleesi, she's locking up 2 dragons. Is that right? And one of the dragons has gone off, so she's a bit afraid. So she locks up 2. So presumably the one that's in the thing is the one that's come back to her.
Yeah. Well, yeah, good
They're
point.
getting pretty big.
So this is the problem I have with Game of Thrones, because most of the kind of series do where are we now?
Yeah.
And I always forget with Game of Thrones, because so much is going on anyway.
Yeah.
And I've said to my missus, this year I'm going to watch at least the last episode of the last series to at least try and refresh my
Oh,
memory.
definitely.
yeah.
I think you sort of
Because
have to.
I can remember the big kind of assault on the wall,
Yeah.
which was badass.
Well, now
was an
Stannis is
amazing
up there.
episode.
Yeah.
Stannis Baratheon.
Yeah.
He's
Oh,
up in
that's
the
right,
north,
yeah,
so
yeah.
I think he's gonna try and like take it over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
need,
that'd
to,
be
I need
cool.
to watch it again.
Yeah,
definitely.
I might. In fact, what I might do is watch it without my missus knowing, because she'll just spend the whole thing going, "Who's that? What's
She
going
doesn't
on
like
here?"
Game of Thrones.
No, she does like it,
Mm.
but she wants to know the answer to something before you've been given that
Oh
answer.
yeah, no.
Oh yeah, it's like just wait patiently.
Yeah, I couldn't handle that.
The only problem I had with it the whole like first 2 seasons, I found it so difficult to remember people's names.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then I'd be talking to people about the show, but I had all these like fill-in names that I'd been using for so long that they
Yeah.
became people's names.
Sean Bean Throne.
Yeah, exactly.
I call him Throne, so just like Little Throne, Blonde Throne.
Yeah, so I
know.
had like asshole king, beheaded
Yeah.
man,
Wait, Joffrey.
burnt face man.
Joffrey's easy to remember.
He's asshole
Yeah,
king.
yeah.
Yeah,
Burnt face man.
he was. Yeah, the burnt face man.
Yeah.
Princess Cleavage as well was one of them. Just like I just made up all these names because
Yeah.
I'm so bad. Littlefinger. I knew that one. That one was easy. Yeah, Littlefinger.
little finger.
He's an odd
$1 million
like,
for
he-
Westeros.
He started off as like my favorite character, and in the last series became my least favorite character, just because I don't know who was on directing duties for that, or like continuity things. But his accent was just
It was all over the place.
All
Yeah.
over the
It's
place.
pretty rough.
Like,
Yeah.
I just couldn't handle it. Every time he came to me, he'd be like talking like a little cartoon leprechaun, and the next time he'd be like a weird sort of nondescript Midlands accent.
Yeah.
And then when you come back to him again, he'd be sort of American.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he was like. Maybe it's a purpose thing. He's playing so many games.
I don't
and
think
stuff
it
like
is.
that.
He's got
that
so many faces.
he's got so many faces.
So many little fingers.
that he can't keep track of himself, and this is his undoing. I don't think that's what
I
it
don't
is.
think that's
I think
true.
this is a poor actor, but I don't know what's going on. But I'm super excited because
Cannot wait for it.
I don't know anything about it. Like I watched the big sort of like one-on-one fight with the Mountain
Yeah.
and the Viper. I watched that with 4 people who had read the books.
Right.
And they said they weren't even watching the show. They were watching me because
Right.
I was like, yes, he's definitely going to
Yeah.
win.
Oh,
And
it was
they were
so
just
good.
sort of just like hanging back going, yeah, you wait. And then when what happens, they were just looking at me and I was just like, it was like, that was a man destroyed. It's
That,
like,
that was
"Aw."
It was a
one
really
of the
good
biggest
fight.
shocks
Well,
I've
spoilers,
seen
yeah, you
in
should-
a
yeah,
TV
yeah,
show.
but,
It was
yeah.
like, but even the way it was handled,
Yeah,
it's
it's
like,
awful.
oh my god.
It's like it builds you up as if you're like, but like you shouldn't trust Game of Thrones at that
Yeah.
point.
I know.
Never trust them. And
If
then,
anything looks like it's
yeah.
a sure thing, the only sure thing is that it's going to be pulled away from you
Yeah.
like at the last minute.
That sucked.
That was a good twist. I liked it.
Another cool thing that's happened this week as well is they've just announced the new Secret Cinema, and it's going to be Empire Strikes Back.
That is awesome.
It's very cool. Yeah. Have you ever done? Did you know what a Secret Cinema is, or you've never
I
been to
did
one?
know what it was, but I
Yeah.
have never been to one. But
I've
it
been-
sounds really cool.
I've been to
Sounds
quite
really
a lot of them now. I went to the Back to the Future one last
I
year. So
wish I had gone to that one.
For people who don't know what Secret Cinema is, it's basically a company and they take a film, they show a screening of it, but they take over like an area of London
Yeah.
and completely sort of like last year
Theme it.
themed it.
Yeah.
So they themed it around Back to the Future. So they recreated Hill Valley and had a giant sort of clock tower which they projected the film onto.
Oh my God, that
Actually,
sounds amazing.
the one that I went to, Bob Gale was there as well. So he came and sort of introduced
Wow.
it, which is amazing.
So, like, where was it? Was it in a part of a disused part of London,
Yeah,
or,
well, it's in
or
like
was
a-
it during the day? People just it was their houses.
No,
or-
no. It's in a giant sort of car park in Hackney. So it was
Oh, so they'd actually built these places.
Yeah, well, it was like a giant area. I think it was in the Olympic Park. I think I had to go to Stratford for it.
Right.
But they basically had this giant area and built sort of like a mini festival. It's exactly the same way
Right.
that you would go about building a festival, I guess, but sort of a little bit more controlled. But
Does
so
it-
much stuff happens.
Does
so
it run for like a whole day, or is it just
Oh,
like a
no,
no,
running
no.
event?
Yeah, it runs for
Oh,
ages.
right,
yeah, yeah.
okay.
So they have one show in sort of every day.
Oh,
Which
awesome.
I think we went in at about 4, and then the movie came on at like 9.
Yeah.
So there's so much to do there.
That's cool.
And
Man,
they have
the Back to the Future one would have been great
It was
as well.
awesome
I'm
because
sure
they had a
would have been
DeLorean that was actually going round, and they had
Oh,
bits
you're
of
killing me.
You're watching the movie, and then bits of the film happen live. So you have like
Right.
stuff because they had the clock tower there.
Yeah,
They had this
is
DeLorean
blowing
going
my
around
mind
the
right
thing,
now.
and then it disappears, and it like leaves a trail of flames. And actually, like it's gonna obviously British weather, but as it started raining in the film, it started raining in real life.
Wow.
Like, it was so crazy.
Was it outdoors?
That's amazing.
It's outdoors, yeah, unfortunately. And it goes on whatever happens as well. So you have to sort of plan for that. But you're given...
Plan for the worst.
You're given a character that, you know, helps you sort of decide what to dress up as. So, like, I think I was an egg. I worked on the farm, so I was an egg sort of looker after. I can't think of the word.
An egg looker after.
Wait,
Egg looker after.
Oh, I don't.
A chicken
carer?
No,
I don't know.
Like
A farmer?
I worked on a farm, basically.
Right.
Yeah, looker after.
what does that have to do with Back to the Future?
There's lots of 50s and stuff like that. So like some of the stuff was
Farmers and Back to the Future. I
well,
thought you were going to say
there's lots
like
of
artistic license.
yeah.
But then there was loads of stuff like there was like a diner scene, and the diner scene that happens in the movie happened while we were there, and like George McFly's in there with Marty before the movie started and stuff like that. And they they've redone this diner, so it was like a 50s diner, and you can go and eat. But there's also like little, almost like they're not fetch quests because it's not a game, but it was almost like that. There was sort of me and another friend were just walking up to try and find a bar, and a girl came over and was just like in sort of 50s dress going, I can't find my Johnny, and we were like, who's Johnny? He's like, oh, he's going off to war. I need to find him. Like, if you find him, can you give him this and give me like a bit of paper? So we sort of. She was like, I'm gonna be in the dance, like the Enchantment of the Sea dance. So if you find him, please come and bring him to me. And we were like, okay, fine. So she went off. And I actually went with her, and a friend of mine sort of was like, just went off and tried to find this Johnny guy. So I went with her, and she was like, opened up her locker and was giving us like sips of booze out of her locker and things. Right. Then we went to the dance. As we were getting into the dance, my friend found Johnny, or a Johnny. I guess it must have been loads of them. Brought him over, and then it was just like, I found Johnny. Like reunited them. They started like smooching and stuff, and everyone's like, yay, like finding it and stuff.
So Johnny stole your girl, is what I'm hearing. Johnny
pretty much,
yeah.
But I mean, he was an army man. I wasn't gonna stop him.
Don't want to get in the way of that.
But in terms of Empire Strikes Back, we were talking about like what setting is it going to be? Like, it'd be amazing if it was like
really cool.
Hoth.
If they can do that much with just setting it in the past, setting it in the future, like imagine the possibilities.
Space.
Yeah, it could be. Well,
I don't know, like
I don't know how they'll do.
It's just weightlessness. When
everyone's just wires.
I think when I first saw it in my head, I started thinking like logistically, because Hoth is amazing, obviously. Dagobah would be really, really good.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be Sky City.
You think Bespin?
Yeah.
Really?
It's pretty dull.
But it's pretty doable.
I know, but that's not the point.
I know it's not the point.
It doesn't sound like that is their...
Hoth sounds like the coolest place.
Yeah.
So what
just put like, polystyrene chips all on the floor.
Well, wait, would Hoth even be the coolest thing? It'd just be like Winter Wonderland. It'd just be snowy.
But then
I'm talking about the Rebel base, not just.
I thought you were just like throw like artificial snow everywhere,
and stuff like that, and then
Santa Claus,
like walkers and.
Okay,
if they do a Rebel base, we have to go down and do a live Rebel base, Star Wars Rebel base, our weekly Star Wars show every Thursday in a Rebel base, exactly. Yeah. But I think maybe because there's so many cool bits, they'll have different sections because it was just Hill Valley in this, but a lot of Back to the Future is in Hill Valley. It's always there, so you can sort of understand that. So I thought maybe they'll have different sections that'll sort of go into each other.
I think they will, probably.
But it's all outside. Well, some of them have been outside, some of them actually been inside as well.
Yeah.
So I went to one that was One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and that was an inside thing, and you were sort of treated as inmates and things like that. I think they've done one like Shawshank Redemption that was similar to that as well. But maybe they'll just have a giant warehouse and completely do it out like Rebel Base.
I'm just imagining like you get there and C-3PO comes up and it's like, oh, have you seen my R2-D2? And then you have to go on like a little quest to find a robot.
Like, the Falcon there or something like that, and it's parked inside the giant worm or something.
That would be cool when they're like incorporating live action into the movie, like with Star Wars, because there's so many like big action scenes and things. You could do some really cool stuff with that.
Riding around on Tauntauns.
Exactly.
Like the kind of Bernie Clifton legs in the...
with the little Halloween.
I'd totally do that.
Well, they're really
an awesome costume.
Yeah. They are really, really good at making good use of space. I saw another one which is Ghostbusters, and they'd taken like the hotel, like where one of the sort of things that happens in. They've taken the entire hotel, redone it, and so they had the cinema. They had the screen there, which was in the middle of the hotel, and every time something was happening, you'd see Ghostbusters running around and things. And for the final sort of showdown with the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, they were standing like shooting the screen with these lasers and stuff, and then a giant actual Stay Puft Marshmallow Man like came behind them, and it turned into like a little dance party, and you could dance to the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Could you eat him?
I didn't.
Was he edible? No. That would have been my first.
But speaking of Ghostbusters, we've split this up into cool stuff that's happened, not so cool stuff that happened. I've put this under not so cool stuff.
So it was you that put this.
That's right.
I've been ripping on
yeah.
Alex.
Yeah.
I
don't even know the story.
thought it was you.
And we
that
also
did
had a bit
this.
of feedback from Cameron McCulloch-Keeble, who said, "What are your thoughts on the Ghostbusters cinematic universe thing?" So it was basically announced this week that Channing Tatum and possibly Chris Pratt, possibly Dan Aykroyd, are working on a male version of the Ghostbusters. It was announced very recently that Paul Feig, is it? I always confuse him and Kevin Feige, but that guy anyway, the Bridesmaids dude, is working on an all-female Ghostbusters, which I think sounds really, really cool. It's a new way of doing it and stuff like that. There was a bit of outroar from idiots on the internet saying that they Ghostbusters have to be female, all this different
really old people,
that's right, really old posh people hated it. And recently and now this week it was announced that they're working on a male Ghostbusters as well. Now there's two things with this. So a lot of people are focusing on the fact that they've doing this male Ghostbusters as if it's a reaction to the bad sort of the feedback they've had from different people. If that's the case, then that's awful and they shouldn't do it. But I think there's a little bit more to it, and they're basically saying that they're expanding the Ghostbusters universe. So there's going to be different Ghostbusters teams going on. That sounds rubbish. If that's true, because
both ideas sound a bit
both ideas.
I think
rubbish,
I don't know. I think both of the films, both the teams could coexist happily in one universe.
Why?
But that's the question. Why?
This is it. Literally, if it hadn't have been, if it was anyone else except for Dan Aykroyd, Chris Pratt, and Channing Tatum, I like all those actors.
Chris Pratt's not confirmed, but he's one of the people that's sort of attached.
I think it's all about the people. So I know there was like the kind of outrage, and people were like, I don't like female Ghostbusters.
That's right. Yeah.
I wasn't too enthusiastic about it, but only because of the actresses.
Backlash,
I haven't seen Bridesmaids, so I don't want to get too into it because apparently that
you should. It's awesome.
Yeah,
Bridesmaids is great. Yeah.
I probably would have gone for like Amy Poehler, Tina Fey, like more like that kind of group, because I think that's good. But I think it's kind of, as you said, it's like if this is due to reaction because of this, then
it must be
great.
though. Like they can paint it up by saying that they're expanding. What universe? They're in New York. Like there's no Ghostbusters
downtown New
universe.
York.
Ghosts aren't just in New York.
Maybe
they've expanded. It's a franchise. It's like Starbucks.
I think that's what it is. I think they're trying to build a franchise, and if you can secure like 4 solid female leads and 4 solid male leads, then hopefully, probably their ideal is that now they're appealing to everyone. And
I don't think. I don't trust them that that's what happened. I think as a reaction to all the idiot fanboys on the internet going crazy about it, they've gone, oh, okay, we'll make a boy one as well.
Well, Dan Aykroyd has talked in the past, I think even before the female Ghostbusters was announced, that it was still a possibility that they would be making another male Ghostbusters. He said it a number of times. So, I mean, that it could be something that has been on the back burner that's only kind of coming out now with the announcement of the female team.
Look, if it's not Bill Murray, I don't care. So...
Yeah, is he going to come into this?
No, he's not interested at all.
No way.
Yeah.
Bill, what are you doing?
Also, I didn't think Ghostbusters 2 was very good.
It's all right.
I thought it was pretty good.
There's good bits in it.
Yeah, but there's a lot of awful bits in it.
The pink stuff.
It's hard to beat the first as well. Like, you nailed it. It's perfect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's leave it at that.
So good.
Yeah, another not so cool thing that has happened as well. Uncharted 4 has been delayed.
Yeah, so Naughty Dog announced this week that it's gone back till spring next year.
That's gutting. Where was it meant to be? It was meant to be Christmas.
It was out this year, 2015. But the reason being is to make it better.
Yeah.
So the Naughty Dog guys commented on the PlayStation blog that basically their ideas for the game were more ambitious than they originally thought.
And that's good.
Which is good, but at the same time, you've been making games for quite a long time. You should have a rough idea of how long it takes to do stuff.
Yeah, but
well, as people cased, The Last of Us was delayed for 6 months or so. I think it was quite a substantial amount of time, and it paid off absolutely. So also, hopefully it's a similar kind of thing.
Because this is going to be obviously the climax of the Nathan Drake story.
They
want it perfect. They want to give him the kind of fitting end, which I totally understand.
I completely understand.
And it's only it's going to be sort of 4 to 6 months
Exactly, yeah.
So it's not that bad.
And with the amount of problems we've had with launches and games, I think it's definitely worth just putting the time in. And as long as it's not like a Project Cars thing.
Yeah, well, Naughty Dog don't put out unfinished games.
Yeah.
So
I think that's the first time anyone's talked about Project Cars in the same sort of breath as Naughty Dog. So I think that's sort of doing a tiny bit of disservice to Naughty Dog, I think. But I think that, what's that famous Miyamoto quote? Is like a delayed game is delayed for a couple of months. A bad game is bad forever.
Yeah.
I love he had a great quote. Someone posted it in the comments, and it was like comparing talking to girls with talking to cats. A lot of good quotes from that guy. He's a genius.
What's the actual
I
quote?
think it was. I think it was.
Yeah, if you don't know the quote, that's not.
I think it was something like, it's like talking with girls is like talking to cats. If a cat comes up and talks to you, then it's always great. But if you talk to a cat, it's not always great. So, words of wisdom.
I feel like you're paraphrasing that, and I think I need to go and read what his actual quote is.
Well, incidentally, it is tattooed on my back, so if you can just take a glance there.
But it's all back to front when you read it, which is why you can't quite remember.
Yeah.
The translation may be a little off.
Another not so cool thing that happened this week, and it's really sad actually. Sam Simon, one of the co-creators of The Simpsons, died. I felt this, I really did, because I've been going back through like seasons 1 to 11 of The Simpsons. Like sporadically, and just
how many seasons have there been now?
So many.
There's a ridiculous amount. Like there are more bad episodes than there are good episodes now.
Yeah.
But
I've started judging it because whatever way my life is timed right now, when I get home, I know that there's like 3 episodes of The Simpsons. Like as soon as I get in the door, and I can always tell whether I want to watch it or not because of the aspect ratio of the episode.
So like, to be honest, I like. Sam Simon obviously like started The Simpsons. You know, he was with Matt Groening and James L. Brooks. Like, so he's responsible for bringing some of the best episodes. But then there have been a lot of really really bad episodes as well. But it just got me sort of thinking about some of my favorite episodes, because I've hit season 9, and I think it's just untouchable as a comedy thing. Season 9 is like. The Mountain of Madness episode where Homer and Mr. Burns are stuck in the cabin. The gay episode where they meet John Waters. You Only Move Twice where they get Hank Scorpio in. And like I think that episode is just probably my favorite, I think.
Hank Scorpio was fantastic.
Like that entire series is just bulletproof, I think. And it just sort of made me really appreciate them. Again. So go home right now and watch season 9 of The Simpsons. Go watch Hank Scorpio and pour one out for Sam Simon.
Right, shall we move on to feedback? I'll read the first piece, which is from Larry Fitzgerald.
Okay.
London IMAX are doing all-nighter showing of all 3 Christopher Nolan Batman films.
Okay.
What would be your ultimate movie marathon?
Not that.
Ooh.
Really?
Yeah.
You're not a fan of?
I love Dark Knight.
Yeah.
I think Batman Begins. I think watching Batman Begins I'd watch Batman Begins, then watch Dark Knight Rises, because I think Dark Knight Rises is a better sequel to Batman Begins than it is to Dark Knight. I think Dark Knight almost sits by itself,
right?
Except for the Two-Face stuff right at the end.
Yeah.
I think it almost sits apart from those. Because I remember when I sat down to watch Dark Knight Rises, at the end I thought, some good stuff in it, but
Did you not like it?
I thought it was okay.
I thought it was as good as, because I didn't.
It's not as good
as
Dark Knight.
No way. Feel Dark Knight. Well, all right. I don't belong here. It's very no, I thought it was all right. I kind of fell into the group of people who thought the Joker was a little overrated. I didn't really get behind it too much.
It's amazing.
It's awesome. Yeah. It's so fun to watch.
It's a good film.
But then I also really really like Bane.
Yeah. I think I just I got on a bit more Bane.
I think he's terrifying in a way that I wasn't ever scared of the Joker. I don't think. Like in the Joker, I thought it was funny. I thought he was sort of unhinged, and I liked that sort of thing. But for me, he was almost like a sort of like Freddy Krueger type character, where you know that this guy is a really bad dude, but you really really like watching him.
Yeah.
Whereas with Bane, I was actually afraid of him.
Yeah.
And actually afraid of some of the stuff that he was doing. And there's like one of my favorite scenes in it when he's got his hand just on the guy's shoulder.
Yeah.
I can't remember what his name is now. Doggett. Is it Doggett?
I don't know.
Anyway, that guy anyway. The guy who's doing some really bad stuff, the sort of like powerful millionaire guy. And there's an amazing scene where he's just like, I'm in control of the situation. He's got his hand on his shoulder. He's like, do you feel in control? It's such a cool scene. Cool. And like, I was terrified of Bane.
Yeah.
The best part was after Dark Knight Rises was just the 2 weeks that followed where everyone was doing Bane impressions.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to do Bane
That was
voices.
good, was it?
Speaking into a pint glass.
Yeah. Well, Speaking of,
Well, what would your perfect all-nighter be?
You adopted the darkness. I was born in it.
That's not too bad, actually.
There you go.
What would your perfect all-nighter of movies be?
Well, it's obvious, but Star Wars original trilogy,
Original trilogy. Yeah.
or Indiana Jones. 1 to
Indiana
3.
Jones.
Oh
Yeah,
my
that's
god,
fine.
yeah. Because I was gonna say Back to the Future.
Yeah.
But Indiana Jones.
See, I never
close
saw
contender.
Raiders at the cinema, and I've never seen Raiders at the cinema.
The only time I've seen Raiders at the cinema is when I saw the
IGN
remake.
Right.
So
the
this-
fan film.
Yeah.
Not quite the same.
It's not quite the same, no.
and you weren't quite the same.
Yeah,
I
you
wasn't quite the
changed.
same. Yeah, so it's basically there was a fan film that was made, and IGN 5 years ago, in 2010,
Long time ago.
put on the screening of it, and like it was one of the only screenings
in Leicester Square,
like,
yeah.
in Leicester Square. And I went down with a friend, and afterwards there were people in there, like I guess it must have been you, like Stuart Reed or something
Well,
like that.
I
down
was there that night.
Oh, were you? Yeah, okay.
Stuart would have
trippy.
been there.
Yeah,
Chris
must have been you
Tilly
guys
was-
doing the video.
Yeah, maybe,
Chris
yeah.
wasn't there, but
No, of course he wasn't. No, I was definitely there.
Yeah, so and I got interviewed afterwards asking me what I thought about it, and it was only I completely forgot that I'd done that. I remember being at the screening, but I completely forgot being interviewed. And then Chris found the video the other day because now they're releasing a documentary about those guys.
Right.
And Chris found that thing the other day, so you can see like a very, very, very pre-IGN.
I did not recognise you.
I look absolutely far. I look like I've eaten myself now. That's what I look like. I posted up on my Facebook, and someone, one of my like best friends, wrote underneath like, "Did you used to be a mole back then?" Because that's what I look like. I look like a cartoon mole.
Yeah.
But you know what I think I would do? I would take Back to the Future 1.
Yep.
Oh no, because I want Raiders in it. I was trying to
Yeah.
be clever and be like, first Back to the Future, second Star Wars, third Indiana Jones. But I'd want first Back to the Future, second Star Wars, first.
Oh, I don't know. I
Indiana
love Last
Jones.
Crusade. I love Last Crusade.
But if you were like, right, you've only got enough time to watch one movie, what would you watch? I'd watch Raiders.
I don't know. That's tight.
That's
It's-
up there.
I think I'd have to watch Raiders. That's just
Yeah.
such a classic, and there's so many moments in that film that just completely personify like Indiana Jones.
But like,
I mean,
like Sean Connery and that relationship there is
Yeah.
amazing. Even like River Phoenix as the young Indiana Jones, it's just played so brilliantly.
I think
That's
like
true.
another like I can't think of the third one for it, but I'm trying to think of like movies that just go well together.
Yeah.
And I think like something like There Will Be Blood, No Country for Old Men.
Yeah.
And like maybe like The Road as well. Like
These
those
are heavy
three
films.
films.
These are
Like,
heavy films
Exactly,
to
it's a
watch
heavy
back to
sort of
back,
thing. And
yeah.
I think maybe those three would be quite good together. But one thing that I want to see, it's not a movie thing, but I really, really want to see it is like the best X-Files, like Monster of the Week episodes.
Right.
So you watch all those in a big
Yeah,
like
yeah,
back-to-back
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
So like everything that scared you from the X-Files.
Yeah. God,
you
there was some really scary stuff.
Exactly,
in
and you
X-Files.
watch like 15 episodes back to back of the
Yeah.
most scary stuff.
Yeah.
That'd be really good.
I've just started watching Watchmen
Okay.
for the first time ever. I've never seen it before.
what, the movie?
The movie? Yeah.
Yeah.
You just started watching it?
Well, I'm watching it on my iPad on the
Okay.
Oh,
TV.
right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I was about an hour in. I thought, okay, God, don't seem to have got far in this story. How long left? 2 hours 10 minutes. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my god,
a
It's
long
worth
film,
it, though.
man.
It's good.
is it?
I
Oh,
like,
yeah,
I
yeah,
like
yeah,
Watchmen.
yeah.
Pretty slow.
Yeah.
The
Lots of
kind
people
of
really
the
don't like it.
final act where everything's kind of coming together is worth it.
Okay.
It's really good.
I actually prefer. This is probably I'll get shot for this, but I actually prefer because they changed quite a lot of the ending of the movie to the comic. I actually prefer the movie ending to the comic ending.
Wow.
I think the comic ending.
That is a bold
Yeah.
statement.
I think the comic ending is mental, and it was one of the only things I just couldn't get on with in the
Right.
comic. I love Watchmen, but I just couldn't get on with that at all.
Okay.
And I think the movie ending is a lot. I don't know. It's a lot bleaker and it's a lot more controlled. It's a lot more boring.
Yeah.
But it sort of fits the movie a little bit
was
better.
the
It fits the movie
was
world,
the
I
comic
think.
one like something crazy with Mr. Manhattan or something? Was it?
You have to sort of see it. It's yeah. If you've just seen the movie,
Yeah, 'cause, yeah, that's all I
it
really-
doesn't even
really
exist.
know. Oh, okay.
Really.
So
But-
listeners, if you want to send your hate mail in, it's IGN_UK
Yeah.
feedback at IGN.com.
Yeah, actually, you guys can tell us what your 3
Yeah.
movies would be. We should do that night. We'll do like a little poll thing, and then
That's a
we'll
great idea.
host it.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Film night.
Boom, done. So I've got. Do you want to do your bit?
Yeah. You guys thought my name was cool. This one comes from Tom Thunderhorse Clow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Clough, I believe that.
Clough?
Yeah.
Oh God, I can't. you give me the email that's one line and I can't get it
What
right.
was that?
Jesus. It was McLeod.
McLeod.
The
last
to
time we were
this
on a
day, we
podcast
don't
together.
need to bring this back up on the podcast.
Oh, bless you.
Thoughts on Forza and Fast and Furious crossover, and should that be made more than just DLC?
It should be its own game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when I was looking at this, the first thing that came to mind was that although it's never really appealed to me personally, the Fast and the Furious franchise is enormous. It is huge.
You know I'm Fast and Furious?
Not really.
I
just cars. I don't really get it. Yeah.
Any of them? Neither is Krupa. What is wrong with you people?
I don't remember.
Because it's one of those. I guess it's. Would you describe it as a guilty pleasure?
No.
Oh, okay.
I would describe it as
just a pleasure.
7 badass films. Or 6 badass films. I haven't seen 7 yet.
Gav's trilogy, Fast and the Furious.
I don't know, there's something about them. They're not rubbish, but they're so silly and over the top, but they're unashamedly so.
Okay.
But they're so entertaining that I don't think it ever matters.
So I have seen some of the first one.
Okay, yeah.
But
it changes so much. It really evolves because the first one is sort of like boy racery and it's a bit sort of rubbish. It gets more deeper and deeper, and like I love Vin Diesel, like absolutely love him. The man could do no wrong in my eyes. If you've ever feeling down, go to his Facebook page because it's amazing.
Really? Why?
He puts up these like amazing like quotes with like pictures of himself just looking amazing with like a blue sort of filter on it, and he'll just come up with the most like stupid quote about like loving yourself and loving the world and all this different thing. But it's amazing. It's so good. Like now and again he'll just post a video of himself up just dancing to a song, but like really getting into it. There'll be no reason for it. He'll just be on his webcam like dancing, and then you can see him walk over to the webcam, press stop and record, and then just uploads it. Just uploads it. Like He's so good on Facebook.
I'm imagining a picture now of Vin Diesel and then a little caption. It's just like, talking with girls is like talking with cats.
No, he's cooler than that. Also, I don't think Vin Diesel spends a lot of time talking to girls.
Oh.
Yeah. But the films are amazing. And I think the DLC is a really, really cool idea. Like, I love Forza Horizon. It's one of my favorite racing games. And I don't think that studio would do something if they didn't think it was worth doing and they didn't think it was cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm kind of in the same boat as you, Alex. I definitely think it could be a lot more than a DLC.
Yeah.
Depending on how substantial it is. If it's just a little bit of story, maybe some cars that appear in the film, I mean, you could...
Well, Ludacris is in it. You play Ludacris's character.
In the DLC?
In the DLC, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, like things like that, I think they could make it much bigger than just DLC. I think it could be a standalone title.
Obviously, like those guys are actually working on actual game and stuff though. So I would rather see this and see something using like the Forza Horizon engine or the Forza engine.
Yeah.
I'd rather see something like DLC that costs like 20 quid and it's just a couple of new maps, a couple of new like cars and stuff. I think if you then have to pad that out into a full game, that's when I think a studio like this might go, that's a lot of work for this amount of work. We could just make another game for ourselves, to be honest. So, I mean,
this could always just be something to test the waters, see how well this is received, and then if it is.
I like it though. It's fun, and like we've seen quite a lot of stuff like that happening because game tie-ins are always pretty rubbish unless they're Lego. Like, But then like Broforce did one for Expendables 3 or whichever Expendables it was, and like Broforce is like little side-scrolling like action shooter thing.
That is a great name.
It's cool. Have you not played it?
No.
Oh, you'll love it. You'll absolutely love it. It's so up your street. It's so American. It's ridiculous.
Sounds awesome. I love Broforce already, so that sounds great.
Even though you're not really American.
We're gonna get into this. We almost made it the whole podcast, and you couldn't.
But all the characters have got like stupid names with the word bro in it. So
oh my God.
It'll be like I can't even think.
This
what it
is literally me. My name on the
like,
IGN thing is Rory Bro.
So it's I don't know if I think it's this, but it's like Sylvester Brostone and stuff like that. Like
God, I love this. I love this.
But they did a standalone little game that was like time with Expendables 3. And it was really, really good. Yeah, it was good fun. So yeah, I think it's a cool idea.
Not so much.
No, definitely not. That was awful. Yeah. So I've got a cool bit of feedback, and this is the last bit. It says Duck Hunt. Just wanted to say you guys have been playing an absolute blinder lately with an amazing run of guests and really insightful interviews with them.
Yes.
Even without any extra added guests, the IGN podcast is still my favorite to listen to, but it's been incredibly interesting to hear from the minds behind the creation, especially if you're a fan from the outside looking in, be able to peek behind the curtain a little and hear directly from the maker the process involved is bringing a piece of work to life. So that's pretty cool. But I guess what I really wanted was help settle in a very heated debate here. How should ketchup be stored? In a fridge or in a cupboard? And that's from Ricky Bidness.
This could divide us.
In the fridge.
Indefinitely. Oh, fridge, yeah.
Cupboard.
Boom.
What? What is wrong with you? Do you put your mayonnaise in there too?
The mayonnaise goes in the fridge.
Mayonnaise does go in the fridge.
Salad cream.
Okay. Yeah, well, I put everything in the fridge.
Salad cream goes in the fridge. But with ketchup, You can't have cold ketchup with hot fish and chips.
Yeah, I like that.
You absolutely can.
Absolutely not.
All my hot sauces, I've got.
What's going to cool it down then? If it's too hot to eat, but you're really hungry, dip it in some
that's
cold
mad.
ketchup.
Right.
I'm just
if that's the argument.
I was on your side just now. We had a good argument. What are you doing? I don't know.
Yeah, what Gav says.
I've always kept it. I think it keeps fresher for longer. But I've got a big collection of hot sauces, and they all sit outside of the fridge, and they don't get anywhere near the fridge.
Right.
But for ketchup, I always used to put.
You
them
can't
in
have
the
cold
fridge for some
hot
reason.
sauce. The irony is just
Exactly. But
unbearable.
I can see your point, because
Yeah.
if you go in like in a fish and chip shop, that's not in a fridge.
No.
And if anyone should know, it's them.
Exactly.
Professionals.
I win.
Yeah, I've just told myself about that.
No, I
Yes.
disagree.
Change it. Change your methods from now on.
I had a friend who kept their crisps in the fridge.
That's mad.
Crisps, like McCoy's.
Right, that's
And
insane.
be like, want a bag of crisps? And I'm like, yeah, I need to open the fridge.
Freezing cold.
You
stale.
think they would go soggy or something, but no, they're actually quite nice.
Why does he keep them in
Refreshing. It's like a cold
Why?
bag of crisps. I don't know.
He's a madman.
the fridge? He hasn't got enough cupboard space.
It does
much
kind of
room has
sound
he
like
got in his
something. It
fridge?
sounds like something that I'll be reciting in a courtroom, and
Yes,
they'd be like,
definitely.
"Did you notice anything weird about Mr. Jameson before the murders?" And I'd be like, "Well, he did keep his crisps in the fridge."
Yeah,
I'd be like,
the jury will just go, "Oh,
exactly.
that mofo's guilty." Okay, so cool stuff that is out this week. Films, we've
Yeah.
got Run All Night, which is another Liam Neeson film where he plays a badass. I haven't seen it, but I've seen the poster, and I feel like I have seen it just from looking at that.
But
Yeah.
until people stop going to see this stuff, they'll keep making it.
Who is
Stop going to see this
Who is
stuff.
going to see this?
It feels like he's a bankable name, though, and it's just like, he's almost like, you know, when
Well, he's the thing that I hated in
Lego Movie.
Batman Begins.
No.
No, I hated
Why did
it.
you say Lego movies?
He's in the Lego Movie.
Yeah, but why would
Because
that
he's
be?
rubbish in it?
He was like my favorite person in Lego
Wow,
movie.
you're wrong.
He was great.
What? But back to this.
Yeah.
You don't think he's a good Ra's al Ghul?
No. I thought it was I thought that whole finale was. I loved the kind of the film up to that point, and if I could cut that bit out and put it, I would totally do that.
Who would you have as Ra's al Ghul?
Oh, I don't know. That's putting me on the spot.
He's good, though. I think he's a really good Ra's al Ghul.
Ooh.
I just don't think you like Northern Irish people.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
Well, Hyena also, that came out last week, but this is cool British crime film, which I really, really want to see, and Chris hasn't stopped going on about it, so
Yeah.
that's one you should definitely check out. But one film I have seen, which I don't think we've talked about on the podcast, is It Follows.
No, we've
I think we had a bunch of
about it in the
guests,
office.
yeah.
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 And It Follows is one of the best horror films I've seen in the last few years.
Yeah.
It's so
Wow.
good and so scary. It's got an amazing soundtrack as well, which is like really intrusive and really sort of pounding. And it generally scared me.
Okay.
So you should definitely check that out. Games that are out this week: Hotline Miami 2, which we liked. Some people didn't.
Yep.
It's been a very, very divisive game.
I think it's a good week.
It's
for
very,
games.
very good.
Yeah.
There's lots that I didn't even put on it as well. Are you guys Hotline Miami fans? Or
Again, I played the first one a bit.
Yeah.
I haven't tried 2 yet.
yeah.
So I'm all about the heists.
Yeah.
About the heists.
It's really, really good. It's not as good as the first one. The maps are just too big.
Right.
Like the maps used to be like really small and doable.
Yeah, it was all
and-
about kind of instant gratification.
Exactly,
Bang, bang,
yeah.
bang. Like, really get through it quickly.
But now the maps are just way, way too big, and because it's so unrelenting, it's the first time that I've ever been killed right at the last minute and not gone straight back in. I've been
Really?
killed at the last minute and just gone, no, there's absolutely no way I'm doing that again.
I haven't played it. Is it like in a FPS?
No, it's top-down twin stick shooter. It's
Oh,
really,
right.
really good.
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
It's the first one is really, really good, and I think you could probably get it for like £1 on Vita.
Yeah.
And I love the Vita version as
check it
well.
out.
I've been playing this one on PC, and I don't know. I'm sort of used to playing it on Vita now.
Yeah.
But I probably will still buy it on Vita and play it through. I think, but I don't know. It's just not as good. But I just love the atmosphere, and I love anything
Yeah.
that Devolver Digital put out as well.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm excited by that. Also out, DMC Definitive Edition.
Love
to be-
DMC.
And it is
Love
the
it.
definitive
good,
edition,
yeah. It's
so
really good.
lives up to its name.
Mm-hmm.
And my other thing that I've been playing is Ollie Ollie 2 on PlayStation Plus. That's free on PlayStation Plus this week. So if you haven't played Ollie Ollie or Ollie Ollie 2, get on that.
Is it free?
It's free on PlayStation Plus, yeah.
Wow.
I know.
We
Mad,
gave it a
isn't it?
high rating
Amazing.
as well, like a 9
Yeah,
or
yeah,
something
yeah.
This is
crazy.
amazing. It's a really, really good game.
Does look fun. Yeah.
It's made by
totally.
some guys who live like, I don't know, like an hour away, something like that. And they've made some amazing games. Roll 7. And they're about to release this year, I think, another game called Not a Hero, which is an amazing sort of side-scrolling platform.
I was looking at
shooter.
that today. Yeah.
So good.
It
It's
does
What's
really,
better?
really good.
Badass Tembo elephant dude. Or,
Tembo the Badass Elephant?
Yeah. Or
Not a hero.
Or not a hero.
I don't. Probably
These are the big questions that we ask.
well,
on the
not.
IGN
They're
UK
both
podcast.
funny. I think if a game makes me laugh, they're good. Not a Hero really made me laugh, and they've got like they've made this like sort of mayor character who started following me on Twitter recently, and he just says all sorts of mental stuff.
Right.
And I just really like the Roll 7 guys. I think they always just do awesome stuff, and they just really really love games. But then Temple the Badass Elephant's made by the people who make Pokemon, so they know games as
so
well.
weird.
It is very very weird.
It is weird. That's the first thing I asked you when you were like, "It's made by Game Freak," and I was like, "Oh, is it top down?"
Yeah,
and you were like, "No."
Yeah,
Blew my mind.
Has nothing in common with Pokemon at all.
nothing.
Yeah,
at
when I
all.
saw it, it's really strange to think it's the same company.
Yeah.
But then I guess companies make all different kinds of games. So
That's right,
I guess
they
it's
do.
because it's like I guess it's because it's like
Insight.
well, when you think about Game Freak, I don't know them to make anything except Pokemon. So it's like it's a little weird.
They made a lot of stuff, but yeah.
Yeah.
That's
the
what
more
they're known
you
for.
know.
And obviously heists.
Yes.
Talk about heists some more.
But
Well,
why
we
are we
should
doing this
say-
podcast? We should be heisting right
We
now.
should, that's true.
Yeah.
But
we could just have a little TV.
we have got our crew, the IGN UK Bruisers. So
Yeah.
if you want to come and join us, come and join us. And
Join
it.
Rory, bro.
You will probably see us online at lunchtimes or something like that.
That's right.
But yeah, you're Rory, bro.
Well, that's my. I think I'm Link Rory on PlayStation.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm not keeping it true to the bros.
I'm Camerogav, CYMROGAV.
Bug Stomper.
Bug Stomper. Yeah. Nice.
Not L Bug Stomper.
Well, let's not get into that story.
Yeah.
The Mexican version of myself.
Ooh, okay.
That's the Latino Robert Downey Jr. man.
You are
Exactly,
absolutely
There
right.
you go, nailed it.
There we
Yeah.
are.
It's all coming together.
Anyway, that is it for this week's podcast. Thank you as always for listening.
Yeah.
We'll be back same time next week. So until then, bye-bye.
See you later.
Bye.